Hey, how are you? It's just me again. I wanted to come on quick and talk to you about the Conan CCG. How we're gonna play it, how we're gonna play it solo. Because I had that question a lot: is how are we gonna do this single player? Because normally a CCG or a collectible card game is meant to be played between two or more people, where you build your own decks and you go against each other. Now, in this one was made in 2006 by Comic Images. I knew them from the Raw Deal card game. I used to play that a lot. But recently I discovered that they did a Conan one. Now, unfortunately, it only had the one set, but they are working on bringing out more, which is good. But for this, um, you have a difference. Everybody's Conan if you're playing it multiplayer. And like I said, you have your own deck, 40 cards minimum, I believe. Then they have what's called a faux deck. That's going to be in this box, and that's a bunch of enemies that you would play against your opponent's Conan, whatever you want. I don't care. But for solo, it's different, although not really all that much. So what I did is I built a bunch of regular Conan decks. Um, we'll just do this one. Okay, set that to the side. And in each deck, you're going to have, let's get him in here, Conan himself. Okay, there's going to be different versions. This is the Savage. And of course, you have Conan the Barbarian, the Adventurer, the Bold. I believe there's the Defiant. And then there was a promo for the Amra the Lion, and so on. And you take your deck. Standard deck building rules apply. No more than 3 of a card. No more than 1 copy of uniques. Just that kind of stuff. The usual. And then I'll give it a half decent shuffle because this isn't a real game. It's just a demo. And for the solo mode, you're going to need a faux deck as well. Now, what I did with these, and again, this is just me being weird, I did theme sets for each enemy. For instance, if I want to face off against people from the north or things from the north, I have that set. We'll do, for some reason, he's going against the armies of Aquilonia today. And in there, I have a bunch of different enemies that are themed around it, as best as I could with what cards were available. And this is called the faux deck, the bad guys. And they're going to come out each turn and try to kick our buttocks. Now, Conan sits here in the center, and he has his 4 zones around him where the enemies are going to be coming in and swarming and trying to attack. Let me move this box out of the way so I have room. All right. This is your deck, your main deck. That's where you're going to be getting all of your cards. Plus, you're also going to be using these cards to give moves or attacks to the enemy. It's all going to make sense when we start doing it. But once you have your 2 decks set up, that's all you need. You can, and this is what I did with it. I had these old health tokens for the bad guys. So I can keep track of the enemy's health. And, again, is it necessary? No. But I have these dials that I use to keep track of scars, which that's something I'll talk about in a second. This, it matches the color for the prowess, so I set it to that starting value. In this case, it's 21. Conan's health is 18 on this one. So I set this one to 18. And this one will be the renown, how much of the victory points you have towards winning. And I think you need 40 in order to win at the start. If you have 40 of these at the start of your turn, you win. I will say, this is the rule book for Conan. Okay, real small. That text was pretty hard for me to read. I guess if you strain, or if I'd actually wear my glasses, which I don't, you could read it fine. But I found a PDF and just printed it. All right, now we can move that out of the way. And yeah, I would encourage anybody to try this solo. Obviously, I like it, or else I wouldn't be here doing this. But I set my dials to the side. Start off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. And again, if Jason's watching and I'm doing anything egregiously wrong, let me know. As far as I know, this is just the way it plays, and yeah. So there's a few stages to this. One is, what the heck do they even call them? I know what they are off the top of my head. As far as I know where things need to be played. Let's see. There it is. Prepare step is the first thing you go through. And that's the one thing about card games, is they do have a lot of quote unquote steps that you have to go through. But you pretty much get to know them. Yeah, prepare is when you're playing out items and so on, which we'll look at. Warrior step can be skipped because it's meant to be either warrior where you're fighting or thief where you're sneaking, but they didn't have the thief mode in. So that can be skipped. And then you do what they call a foe draw phase, which is where they draw enemies. And then you put the enemies out, give them moves, and use attack, punch, kick, and then either keep going or rest. All right, so let's just get to it. So each of these cards are going to be either actions. Okay, if I have any weapons, there'll be moves. Okay, which we'll go through all of that. Let me see if I have a weapon in here somewhere. There it is. Be weapons. You can have shields. You can have armor, and so on. You can go carousing. Take grisly trophies, and so on. I don't have so many of the rares because honestly, and this is one of the things I like about it, especially from talking to Jason, is that the rares are cool, but they're not necessary. You can build perfectly fine decks without them, especially the ultra rares. Honestly, I have them, not all, but a few of them, and I don't care. All right, so also that's what else is cool is they do have notes on here of what stage it can be played in. So if it can be played in the warrior stage, that's when you're deciding whether you're going to be attacking or being a thief. And again, you can't be a thief yet. And I say yet because I have every faith that he will get this going. So I don't want to play any of the actions. No, so far I'm good. I do like this one because it lets me move enemies around. But anyway, let's do this. So on each time after you are done playing and you go through the warrior step, you do the foe draw, which is where you draw 5 enemies plus 1 for every 3 of this renown that you have. And since we don't have any, 2, 3, 4, 5 bad guys. And you'll have either major foes, or I must not have shuffled this. I'm going to keep Heimdall out just to show you what you do with them. I didn't shuffle it. Or you have minor foes. The major foes obviously deal more damage, right? They're your named bad guys. And they are meant to be your big threats. However, they're harder to put out to play. See, normally with a minor enemy, there you go. What you're looking at is this renown value here of whether or not you're going to play them. Minor enemies are going to be 4 or less. Major enemies are going to be 5 or higher. I don't think I had a major enemy that was a 4. But what you do is you subtract 4 from this renown, and that's how many minor enemies you have to discard in order to play the major one. So if I decide I want Heimdall in play, there, that's a pretty quick zoom in there. It's jarring, but his renown is 5. So in order to play him, 5 minus 4 is 1. I have to discard 1 minor enemy. And it shows he's unique, and his melee moves deal +2 damage. Hopefully I remember that as we're going. But I'm going to take him, discard him, only because it has the keywords mounted and has the keywords veteran. Veteran is a special keyword that does something. A lot of the Aquilonia ones have that, but I might ignore it just for the demo purposes. So yeah, we're going to put him out. I know you're supposed to put them like this, but I keep them this way just so I can read it. And I want to put, let's see, these 2 are major foes, so they're going to keep them in hand, and we're going to go there. All right, now when you're playing these bad guys out, Conan's usually only able to hit 2 zones at once. So maybe it's benefit, and again, just do what's most thematic and most fun for you. Don't just take the easy way out. That's no fun. But this one here says your opponents can play up to 4 foes per zone instead of 3. And when we start the warrior step, Savage Conan heals 1. And he has during the barbarian stage. What the heck is that again? So I can tell you exactly. Yeah, that's right when you're playing the moves and you're right before you resolve them. He's able to heal 1. I'm sorry, strength 1. He's able to discard a card and draw 1, if I remember that correct. Nope, strength 1. You may select 1 foe. You deal +1 damage to that foe for this round. What the heck is the draw 1 then? That's on one of the Conans. I'll be there. So anyway, each enemy gets a move. Okay. And what you have to do is you have to put the move facing towards you. And that was something I did take a little bit to get used to. You could put it below them. You could put it above them, side of them. I don't care. It's your game. Do what you want with it. All right. But the point is to not know. I don't know what he played there. Now, if something comes out here that the enemy can't use, discard it and draw another one. You didn't get a free hit. You don't get free hits. Now, your job is to place what you're assuming is going to be a counter move out on the sides, either one or both if you want. But each move that you do is going to cost this prowess. Think of prowess like a point pool that you have each turn or each round, and you're able to cash those points in order to play these moves. Now, if you were playing this as an action, you don't have to pay for it, unless it says in the text. But if you're playing it as a move, so that you can use the symbols on the side, you have to pay this cost right here. And each move also has an initiative, which says which turn order it goes in. The higher it is, the quicker it is. So let's just show for the giggles. Oh, also moves and things are going to have special abilities. So this one says Conan gets +1 initiative. So I'm going to take this one. The 2 punches there. I'm going to subtract 3 from the old prowess there. Now, could I play another move here? Yes. Yes, I could. But I'm going to gamble that Conan's going to have enough to kill that. And just to show you, that's a good one. Okay. I'm going to put this one here. Now, it costs me 4. But what I like about it, if Conan beats this minor foe, he gets 2 of those back. So we'll see how that works. So once you're done playing your moves, you flip these over. Okay. Oh, that's a good thing this came out. See how this is helpless victim? There's no symbols on the side. So we just discard that one and give the bad guy a new move. There we go. Flip these over. And we check what's called the initiative. And let's see, there's no faux text on here. So their initiative is 3. Now his is 3. However, Conan's thing here says +1 initiative, so that's a 4. So it goes first. And you will be able to kill something before it is attacking. Otherwise, if they're tied, you attack at the same time, and so on. But in this case, you check the symbols, and they are going to have what each symbol blocks and so on. The multis and all that stuff. So the swords, if you look on there, the blades block other blades. So this means the blades do not block these punches, these grabs. So Conan does 3 damage, which is his base damage, for the first one, and then +1 damage for each other symbol. That's 3 and 1, so that's 4 damage done to him, which means he beats him, which means this move never goes off. And I just discard them. Give myself the renown, which in this case was 5. And the scars. The scars let you play weapons and items because a lot of the weapons and items have a scar value that you have to have in order to play. In fact, one of the Conans has +4 scar value for playing weapons. So he's able to play weapons out a lot faster than the other ones. But then once this one is taken care of, we come over here to the next one. And again, what's neat is, let me move these off. When these things line up, there you go. You have to look at the symbols. The symbols that are touching are contending, I guess is a good way to say it. You see if one blocks the other. If they're unblocked, then they're free. Now, on an enemy move, if you're not on that side and you have at least one card against it, ignore the other side. It doesn't go off. However, if I wouldn't have put any moves here, then both sides would execute. But because it's just the one, I look at this and say, okay, what's higher initiative? We both have 3. No special text for him. Then again, this one just says if I beat him, I get +2. So his damage is 2. So he has 1 that hits me. So I would take 2 damage. I have 1 that hits him. So he takes 3. So I will put 3 onto him. Now, could I have put another move onto this side? Yes. Yes, I could have. But I thought this one would be enough. Apparently, I was mistaken. Let's put these back to the middle so you can see. So now the Zambulan Guard has 3 damage on him. Again, they're just 3 tokens I had. They're just some health tokens I had laying around. Let's see. During the Barbarian phase, Conan may discard Zambulan Guard by discarding 1 wealth from play. I don't have any wealth in play, so I couldn't have done that. All right. Now, if you don't beat everybody, each of you, the bad guys and you, draw cards equal to the number of foes and allies in play. And then you go back to the start of the warrior barbarian step thing where you're putting out enemies and then you're doing the moves and everything else. But you can look and see, is there anything you want to play in the warrior step and so on. No, I think I want to keep that. That's a good attack one. Especially if you're, like if you had multiple villains here, just for the giggles of it, I'll put this one out. And there was a move in between them, or they, I should say, they each had a move like this. You could put a move like this in between them, and this way you're attacking with this side for this card and this side for this one. So that's a lot of different strategies you can get once this starts going. But this isn't out yet. Let's see what we got. A major, a minor, and a major. I kind of want to put the Royal Guard out. So I'm going to discard the Horseman, put out the Royal Guard. I still didn't get the Blood Defiler out. And again, I just grab different themes of sets and put them out. So we take one move for the Royal Guard, and one move, not two, for the Zambulan Guard. And again, I go through here and I decide what do I want to play on them. If I had more zones, I'd deal out more enemies. And that's going to come when as further rounds come in. So we put one out here, and I will pay the 4. Again, finite resource. So I'm down to 10. He does start with a lot. Conan the Savage does start with a lot of renown, or I'm sorry, prowess. So he's able to do a lot of moves. It's just his health is a little lower than the others. I'll explain vitality as well. I don't need it just yet, but I'll show it to you anyway. There's one that does dodging. I could play this as, I'm going to do that just to show you. So I'm going to play this one as an action. It says discard a card, then draw 2. Let me just bring that up here so you can see it. So I will play that as an action, and I will discard back against the wall so that I can draw 1, 2. And it says play during the warrior step. That's what we're in as far as I'm aware. Oh, there's a coin purse. So it's wealth. So I could have done that for. In other words, you're paying off the Zambulan Guard to leave. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do bone crunching swing. So Conan gets +1 damage and receives -1 damage from this enemy. But it has 2 of the big axes on it. So yeah, we got to swing on that guy. Is it overkill? Probably. I'm hoping. But that's 4 more. Turn this down. Statistics. You could track these with beads. You can track it with anything you want. But honestly, those dials are a lifesaver for it. Again, I got them off of Etsy. But any dial, like the Litco dials, I have them sitting around here somewhere. I have a bunch of those Litco dials. They'd help too. All right, so let's see what we got. Nothing to do but to do it. And this is really how you play it solo. There's not a lot of difference from the base game, except the other player doesn't get a Conan turn. You are Conan all the time. And you don't know what foes are coming out. Play the ones that are most detrimental or just seem cool and fun to play with. Oh, here's the other thing I didn't mention. If their prowess on the guard or on the enemy, whatever it is less than the prowess of the item or the move that they're playing, they do lose damage equal to the difference. However, they can't die from it. So I would let this one go. Even though this prowess cost on this move is 4, and he only has 3, so normally he'd take a damage, but 1 more damage would kill him. So I'm not going to do that. His initiative is 3, yours is 3, so you go at the same time. That's a run, so that doesn't deal damage. But Conan does 1, 2 axe damages, which is 3 + 1. That's 4, so he's dead anyway. And I get 3 renown. So I'm up to 8. And 1 scar. Again, I'm kind of wondering. Let me see. Do I have that purse here? Yes. See, we were talking about the items and stuff before. See how it says it requires 2 and it's in the black like that? That's the scars. So each enemy, when you kill them, they give you scars. And items require you to have a certain number of scars in order to play them. It doesn't mean you have to pay anything, but I kind of think it's cooler if you do. This way you can't just overload yourself with weapons and items and things. You have a cost for it. So if you have to use the scars that you've gained in order to pay for them, I don't know. I'll try it. But it's something I'm kicking around. But for the base gaming, for regular play, you don't need to spend the scars. You just have them. So let's see what we've got here. That's a 4 initiative versus my 2. So any damage that he has on this side that I'm playing against would go off. This is ignored because there's no move there, and I have 1 card at least engaged with it, I guess is a good way to say. So he doesn't hit me. Conan says 3 plus 1 is 4, and that's 4. So he's dead too. And we go up to 13, not 93. That would be awkward. And the scars go up to 5. See, that's what I mean. I have 5 scars already, and I don't know of any weapon in here that needs more than 5. So anything over this, why bother tracking it? Unless you're going to spend it to use it, which is why I thought that would be a cool use. All right, so let's discard these. Now, when there's no enemies, you can either rest, which you get all of your prowess back, and you can use your vitality, which so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rest just so I can show you. Or you can push on, which means they redraw more enemies, and you just keep going and going. So if you think you have a big rush, you have enough cards that you can survive another set of enemies, you can go for it in order to try to get the most renown. But I'm going to take a rest. Draw back up to your hand of 7. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah, I got the Sumerian shield, which will help, block damage, of course. I always like that picture from the comics. But yeah, rest cards, cards that go off when you're taking a rest, and so on. So during the rest, you get your cards back. You fill up your prowess back to its starting. And you can spend prowess up to your vitality value. And let's get it in there. There it is. So this Conan's vitality value is 4. Now, why would I spend it? I'm glad you asked. So I'm going to spend 2 to go down to 19. And for every vitality you spend, you heal that much. And this is how many you are allowed to spend. So he's allowed to spend 4. Some were 3. I don't remember the other ones, but 4, 5, 6, 7. Am I going to play anything? I'll just show you. Let's see. You may discard Sumerian Shield from play to prevent up to 3 damage, or deal +1 damage with an unarmed move. And they will tell you specifically if it's unarmed. So yeah, I'll play the shield. Now again, playing items and actions do not cost your prowess. That's only to play the moves as you're going through. Do I want the coin purse out? Gives +1 wealth. If you press on, you can discard coin purse and draw up to 2 cards. I'll hold on to it for now. All right. So anyway, that's my prepare step. We go into the warrior step, which are you going to be a warrior or a thief? Obviously, you're going to be the warrior thing. And then we draw 5, right? Then +1 for every 3 of the renown that we have. So I have 13, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 more enemies. And you can see quickly how the number of enemies can build up. And you're able to get the bigger ones out a lot quicker that way. Like, for instance, if I want to play this pretty awesome looking Bat Demon, I think that one came from the video game, the Conan Exile. His receives -1 damage from ranged moves. Let's see. When foe moves are revealed, if Bat Demon is alone in a zone, and Conan has only played one move against it, you can place your move on the opposite side of Conan's. Well, that's kind of cool. Okay, so I'm going to play him. I have to discard 2 minors. I'll do 1 Royal Guard and a Foot Soldier. Now, for here, I'm going to play the 2 just to show you what a double hit, the doubles like. I got to move these. Hyrcanian Swordsman. Okay, here's another thing I do that's just me. I try to keep all of the people from the same region on the same side, just so I have it right in my head where everybody's at. You don't have to. That's just the way I keep it. And that's a good one I can show you. Dallas. What I like about is that whenever she's in play, if Conan doesn't have any allies, he actually does -1 damage. So she's one you want to get rid of quickly. And I'll discard this Horseman, and then I'll put a Sumerian Swordsman over here. So there you go. Now, a lot of enemies surrounding us. And it still goes where you put a card at each one. And it doesn't. As long as you know where it's at, that's all that's going to matter. Okay. Conan can only attack 2 zones unless there's something special that says he can do more. This is the extra enemy card, so I'll leave that right up here on the computer. So this is really what there is to solo. Is now you have to decide how do you want to do your attacks. Where do you want to focus your damage on? And I'm going to, let's see. First, I'll put 1 here. This way it covers both of those. It's costing me 2. That's the other thing. You have to manage this. What's that going to look like? Now, I know I need to get her out of here simply because of that -1 damage thing is not a good day. So I'm going to spend 2 for the coin purse. Because the arrow, the ranged attack is pretty difficult to defend against. And then I'm going to... see, look at that's 5, though. I don't want to play Disturbed Rest. Okay, we'll do it that way. Elbow to the throat. That cost me 2. So I'm down to 13 prowess. And that's where we're at. All right, so then we flip. And flip. Again, yeah, it's a lot of management with it. Make sure the cards line up because that is very important. And again, I think it's one of the cooler parts of the darn game. You're supposed to go in initiative order, but I like doing it by zone just because it helps with me. So I start over here because there's nothing here. So both sides would go off. There's 2 runs. And it has 2 punches. So he does 2 plus 1 is 3 damage to Conan. 18 down to 15. Now the bat. Oh my good lord. Look at this. 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1. Yeah. Oh wait. Oh, thank God. He only had 2. Either way, it's still 6 damage. And we take it down to 9. I should have blocked. I mean, hey, you don't know, right? You don't know. And then we're going to come into this side. 3 initiative, 3 initiative, 3 initiative. So they all go off at once. Let's see. Oh, glad I didn't get this one. That's 3 punches on that side. 1 punch versus nothing. So Conan does 3 damage, -1 because of her. And he puts 2 onto here. Now we come back to here. 3, 3, and 3. All happens at the same time. 2 plus 1, so Conan takes 3. He hits her for 2. This one. And then now Arrow is up against Boot. Now, is the Boot able to block the ranged attack? Well, that's where we come again to the back of the book or to the back of any other reference. It tells you agility blocks everything except ranged and sorcery. That's what the swirly one is sorcery. So no, the Boot does not block the ranged attack because I'll shoot you running away. So that's 2 damage. That's her 4 health. Thank goodness that she's gone. So that was a bit of a pain. Oh, I could have played that for free by discarding cards. And if this move hits, the foe's owner must discard 2 cards. So we'll take that one that they had and we'll discard it. I get 5. I'm up to 18 of the renown and 7 of the scars. Now, will that matter? I'm not doing so good myself. So here's what I can do, and that's what I'm going to show you next. After we're done, right, we draw each 4 cards because that's how many enemies and allies are left out. So he doesn't redraw 4 plus or anything like that. And then I get 1, 2, 3, 4. And I decide if I'm going to, well, I'll show you in a second. This one actually says I can heal up to 3 cards. And then I may discard a card. Play if there's only 1 foe in play. I don't care. That doesn't matter. Nope. Oh, wow. Disturbed Rest. It says reveal the top 3 cards of the foe deck whenever you're resting. You may play 1 foe card with a renown of 6 or less, then discard any unplayed foes. Conan must fight it or lose 5 prowess. Yeah, I'm just going to ignore that one for now. And then Panther. Okay, so just to show you what happens next. So I'm going to, instead of bringing out the foes, the bad guys, which I can do. That's a major, it's a minor. Let's just put a couple of minors out or whatever we have just to show you what it is. We'll put the wolf out with the Zambulan man-at-arms. Add another Hyrcanian swordsman over here to their group. Do I have to put it here with them? No. But there are some enemies that say solitary or you must be with animals and so on. But I just keep it there for the sake of doing it. I can look at this then now. I'm in what's called the search. After you do this, you go into the beginning of the warrior step again, where, let's see, what exactly do they call it? Survey. That's right. It's the survey. After the foe draw, you do the survey step again. And the survey step is where Conan can look at this and say, no, I'm getting out of here. That's too much for me. I can't do this. The problem with that is that you then lose renown equal to the scars on everything in play. Which, yeah, this does come into play before playing the bad guys out. I don't remember which ones I played. But if I think it's going to be too much, I can just say, no, I'm done. And then we discard all the enemies and say 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I lose renown equal to that. But then I get to go right into the rest stage, get my prowess back, which I'm going to spend from 21 down to 17 to get 4 more health back, which I know 4 health isn't much, but it could be something. And then I would continue playing from here. So that's pretty much what there is for playing Conan solo. It's not any more difficult than playing it Single player, you're just managing both the foe deck and your Conan deck. Normally, you'd be doing that anyway if you're playing it multiplayer, but now you're always Conan. You don't have to wait for somebody else's turn. You just play it and go from there. And if you ever get to 40 by the beginning of your turn, just like in a regular game, you win. So, yeah, if you have any questions on how to do this solo, let me know. I hope this helped, and I look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, have fun.